everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk. Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Crystal Kennedy, and this is the show where we're going to bring you the day's biggest movie news with insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor John Campea.
Hello, Crystal Lee, and hello, everybody. In the spirit of sharing for the next week or so, I'm going to share a little detail about myself. My biggest guilty pleasure movie in history is Vanilla Ice's Cool as Ice. Go out and see it. That's my one of my big guilty pleasures.
Well, on that note, I'm going to introduce our special guest of the day, director of the upcoming film ABCs of Death, Mr. John Schnepp.
Hello, everyone. John Campea, I can't believe that you just said that. You will not believe what I watched 4 days ago.
Oh, no.
You didn't see Cool.
I watched Vanilla Ice, Cool as Ice on Netflix. My girlfriend was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know. It just seems like I want to see this on Netflix. It seems like it's going to be hilarious. I'm just going to watch the first 5 minutes." It was Vanilla Ice's Cool as Ice, and I watched the entire movie, and I laughed my ass off.
It's like a train wreck. Once you start watching it, you can't look away.
It's incredible. I'm not kidding. I was like, wow, I'm going to try to get a bunch of friends to watch this together and get drunk.
I'm not kidding. We actually had, about a year and a half ago, we had at our house, we had a Vanilla Ice, Cool as Ice viewing party. We had like 20 of us there, and we just laughed hysterically the whole night.
Wow, I feel like this is the first time I've ever felt like I'm behind the curve on something. Like you actually said, it's like, you said that, I was like, get out of my mind, dude. I just saw the movie.
Are you ready? The Klingons are coming. The Klingons are coming. As most of you know, the next installment of the Star Trek series, Star Trek Into Darkness, opens in AMC theaters on May 17th. Recently, director J.J. Abrams did an interview where he confirmed that the most recognizable of the Star Trek's aliens races, the Klingons, would indeed be appearing in the movie in a significant way, in their traditional roles as adversaries of Starfleet. John, is it good or bad to put the Klingons in the new Star Trek?
I think it's a great thing. I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was saying the other day about, hey, having Han Solo in the new Star Wars movies makes it feel like home again. And it's great. I mean, I loved the first Star Trek. I argued that it should have been nominated for Best Picture. That was a year that it actually had 10 nominees. The one thing that was kind of missing a little bit was the Klingons. I mean, that's a dietary staple of Star Trek. Not that you have to have them in everything, but it always feels good. Now, there was a deleted scene from the original Star Trek film where Nero is like being held prisoner by Klingons, and that's on the DVD. You can see that on the DVD, but they didn't make their way into the movie. So I love it. And Schnepp pointed out that if you watch frame by frame the first trailer that came out, you can see that there are Klingons there, so we know. But it's nice hearing JJ say not only are they there, but they're going to be a significant presence. I think that's great. What about you, Schnepp?
Yeah, it's good to just have it confirmed. Everyone kind of knew the Klingons were going to be in it, but finally, so it's like, yes, Klingons are a major part. They're not just in one scene. Yeah, and if you have the Star Trek Blu-ray, they have that entire sequence like on some Klingon prison planet, which is, it's pretty cool. I thought, wow, it's an interesting re-envisioning of the Klingons. So I'm sure they're going to take those weird leather helmets off and have some kind of semi-crab thing going on the top, but we'll have to see what the new version of the Klingons look like.
Things could be getting steamy in 2014. It's been a few months since it was announced that Kelly Marcel will be adapting E.L. James' 50 Shades of Grey to the big screen. Today, The Hollywood Reporter spoke with Universal Pictures chairman Adam Fogelson, who says that the movie version is moving quickly and that it could hit the big screen as early as 2014. The Universal exec stated, "I will tell you that it is an absolute priority for us. It's conceivable that we would be ready to release it as early as next summer." Schnepp, is next summer too ambitious of a target considering 50 Shades of Grey hasn't cast any of the parts or hired a director?
Yeah, seeing as how many special effects and CG characters are going to be part of it, I think it should probably come out 2018.
Yeah.
is my serious projection for 50 Shades of Grey, because I know they've added at least 40 different races of creatures that are both subatomic and microverse orientated, like are inside the people's bodies while they're having
all of them into S&M. That's important to point out.
Yeah,
all of them.
All the creatures are bondage related and are in some kind of form of stress and coated in some kind of sweat. So Yeah, 2018 is my prediction for 50 Shades of Grey. Definitely not before that. There's no way. Even
No.
if they cast it tomorrow, it's going to take a lot of time to get all those backgrounds built. Brand new kinds of S&M bondage material has to be imported from all over the world, basically. I heard they were going to shoot parts of it in Bangkok and other sequences in a small underground tram in Australia that's being specially built for it's like a holding cell where they bodies can be suspended. Let me just push it to 2019. That's it.
All right, I think that makes perfect sense. Now, in all seriousness, no, this is one of those films where, now I haven't read the book, but I
Read all of them.
But I've read the synopsis. I understand. Now, you said a lot of it just happens in like one room.
It does. A lot of it happens within an apartment and within a red room of pain. So there's not a huge
Right,
place.
not a
They don't
big-
have to look for locations.
You know, when we were sitting here before in the pre-show, Dennis, our production manager over here, kind of made a joke. He said, you could shoot this film in a weekend. It's really not that funny of a joke because I really don't know that you need more than 2 or 3 weeks
You don't.
to shoot. And once you have the script together, summer of 2014 is not an ambitious target date. They could easily come out with this. And, off camera, Dennis made another great point in that 50 Shades of Grey is not going to be popular for long.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make this movie, you better make it soon, like really sooner rather than later, to capitalize on the lingering popularity of them. Because I don't think any more books are coming.
No.
And I think it's hit its peak in its popularity. Got to get these films out as fast as you can. All right, folks. We've reached that point in the show where we are going to do buy or sell. Krista Lee is going to read off some of the other big items in today's movie news, and Schnepp and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Krista Lee, what do we got?
Speaking of Universal Chairman Adam Fogelson, the executive hasn't just been talking 50 Shades of Grey. When asked about one of their other major franchises, the Bourne series, Fogelson said the following: I absolutely see us doing more Bourne. 100% yes. Matt has talked about the possibility of coming back, and we totally respect that and are excited if and when he wants to have the conversation. But I think the last movie gave us a bunch of options to pursue a next chapter. John, buy or sell Universal going back to Matt Damon for the Bourne series instead of sticking with Renner?
Okay, I'm going to say buy, going back to Matt Damon, but not as hard as you might think. Everybody's, well, Matt Damon, of course, is Bourne. Yeah, that's true. But remember, for all of some of the, complaints that came out about it, the Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner made over $275 million worldwide at the box office. $275 million. That means people were still interested in the story. And I like what he said. He said, we have lots of options now. Who says they can't do Damon and Cross with Jeremy Renner? Who says you can't do them both? So yeah, for me, it's a buy. What about you, Schnepp?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll sell it. I think they went with Jeremy Renner. They might as well do a few more, 2 more with Jeremy Renner and then have a combo Matt Damon, Jeremy Renner.
Not a bad idea.
I think it's sort of like, it's almost like Mission Impossible. Like they had Tom Cruise and they brought Jeremy Renner in to replace him, but then they end up being pals at the end. So it's just pick one. It's like, I don't know. I think it's like, if you want to go back to Matt Damon, I think that's cool, but it sort of ended. I felt that trilogy ended. It felt like it ended. So,
all right.
Universal has confirmed that a movie adaptation of the hit Broadway musical Wicked, based on the world of The Wizard of Oz, is indeed on its way and will appear, quote, sooner rather than later. Schnepp, buy or sell a Wicked movie being produced while the new Oz, the Great and Powerful series has just started?
I buy that they are going to make Wicked a movie for the Wicked adaptation, and I say it goes 2018 head-to-head with 50 Shades of Grey. Bam. Wicked being shot in a green room and lots of CG and a lot of singing. I say cram 30 people into a green room and make a movie over 2 weeks and release Wicked in 1 month.
I'm going to sell this. Having just seen Oz the Great and Powerful, which I'm not allowed to talk about because it's still under embargo, but I've seen it. From what I understand about Wicked, because I've not seen the stage play, it actually contradicts what's going on with Oz. I don't want to see 2 Oz stories going on at the same time that have their own storylines with different continuities and all kind of stuff. Not interested right now. Maybe someday, but I'm not interested in Wicked right now.
Okay. Screenwriter Ryan Engel has just been brought on to write a script for a feature film version of the cartoon Ben 10. The series is about a boy, Ben Tennyson, who discovers a strange wristwatch that allows him to transform into 10 different aliens with superpowers. John, buy or sell a Ben 10 movie?
You know what? I'm going to buy this. I've only seen about 5 minutes of one episode of Ben 10 once, but the concept I like.
Yeah.
And especially if they take liberties and, just build a movie around the concept and not feel like you have to stick biblically to the original cartoon show. I think the concept sounds solid. So yeah, I'm on board. I buy it. What about you, Schnepp?
I buy mainly because my friend Dave Johnson designed those characters for Ben 10. He did a great job. The red creature with the 4 arms. I'd love to see that as a CG live action movie. So Ben 10, let's make it. I'll go see it is what I'm trying to say.
All right.
Actor Taylor Kitsch had a rough 2012. The Friday Night Lights star had 2 big box office disappointments in John Carter and Battleship. It's now being reported that Kitsch has joined on for the new thriller Exit 147. The movie will center on a small-town sheriff who arrests a man driving across the desert at night and holds him captive as part of a sadistic game. Kitsch would play the sheriff. Schnepp, buy or sell Kitsch's ability to headline in a successful movie?
Exit box office. I'm gonna say I buy it. Just look, I don't blame Taylor Kitsch for the failure of Battleship or John Carter. John Carter was obviously a horribly advertised film. It had a guy with a big red background and weird apes jumping. It was called John Carter instead of John Carter of Mars. No one knew what it was. Everyone I talked to was like, I don't know what it is. What's it? Is it a Western? What's up with the apes? Is it a carnival circus movie? Horrible mismanagement of what ended up being. I went and saw it. I thought it was a really fun science fiction film. So, boo on the advertising department of John Carter. It's not Taylor Kitsch's fault. Battleship, on the other hand, let's just not talk about it. So, Exit 147, sure. I mean, the guy's a good actor. Give him a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to buy this as well. I think John Kitsch is a solid actor, and I thought John Carter was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was true, pure sci-fi. But like Schnepp pointed out so accurately, it was one of the most brutally marketed films of all time. Battleship, it was what you thought it was going to be. It was just terrible. And it was going to be a terrible movie whether he was in it or not. It wasn't his fault. And I do think he's a solid actor. So for me, myself, I'm going to buy that he can eventually be a legit leading, big, successful movie actor. All right, it's time for Mailbag, the segment of the show where we take your questions. Listen, if you want to get a question on the show, email us anytime to AMC Movie Talk @gmail.com. That's amcmovietalk@gmail.com, and we'll do our very best to get your question on air. Chris Lee has a few questions pulled out. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
I do. We're going to start with Corys Etch, who writes, I recently started watching your show, and I love it. I've recently heard about news Micheal Fassbender being chosen to play Altair in the movie adaptation of the Assassin's Creed video game series, which I'm excited for because I love him in X-Men First Class. With that being said, I have 2 questions. 1, do you believe that Fassbender was the right choice for the role? And 2, what is your favorite video game adaptation?
It's absolutely he is the right choice. I mean, look, there's no such thing as the one singular right choice. He is one of the right choices, and I'm sure it would have been 7, 8, or 9 guys who could have been the right choice. But Fassbender is talent. It's never a mistake to get talent. As far as my favorite video game adaptation to date, all video game adaptations suck. And I would say maybe the one I can most tolerate was probably the first Tomb Raider movie. That's the one I can probably tolerate the most. But up to this point, all of them have been terrible. I'm looking forward to the new batch coming out. Schnepp, what about you? Is Fassbender the right guy? And what's your favorite video game adaptation so far?
Fassbender is an incredible actor. He's also got his name on as a producer,
yes.
So that'll probably help him be able to mold his character a little bit better. He's a great choice. I mean, video game movies are only going to get better. My guilty pleasure are all of the Resident Evil movies because I love Mia. So I was going to say District 9 was one of the best adaptations of a video game that was never made. So, but Resident Evil for me is a guilty pleasure. I'll see if they make 12 Resident Evils, I'll see all of them. So,
all right, what's next?
Aaron Francis writes in, I really like your show and I watch it every day. My question involves the rumors that have been floating around about J.J. Abrams directing Valve movies based off their games like Portal and Half-Life. Do you think these rumors are true? And if so, is it a good idea? Thanks again for a great movie talk show.
Well, you are welcome for the great movie talk show. Thanks for your email. Let's clear this up. No, J.J. Abrams is not going to be directing Half-Life or Portal. He's not. But there has been the suggestion, he himself confirmed, that they are looking at having his company work with Valve in producing those films. So that very well could happen. That is a legit statement that Abrams himself has made, along with the president of Valve. They were on stage together and they confirmed they're going to work together. But don't expect at all, they never said JJ would direct them. Don't expect at all to ever see him direct them because he's got so much on his plate already in the near future. That just won't happen. And I think it's a very interesting partnership. Look, I said all video games and movies suck, but a Bad Robot produced Half-Life? That could be interesting. Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm all aboard that. I mean, Valve is one of the greatest video game companies making games around right now. Half-Life 2, incredibly immersive, amazing games. Portal, what a fun game. So yeah, J.J. Abrams' company, him being a producer on it, like throwing his ideas into how to possibly shape it as a film series. I think it's a great fit. So he doesn't have to direct it, but just let Bad Robot make it,
All right. What else we got?
Badger Barman writes, should the idea of the Justice League be scrapped in favor of a Justice Society film, which would not be so dependent on Batman and Superman, plus give more attention to the Golden Age versions of characters like The Flash, Green Lantern, Hawkman, and Dr. Fate, as well as the possibilities of having Captain Marvel, The Atom, Dr. Midnight, or my personal wish hero to see, Wildcat?
Here's the problem. Nobody would see it. I mean, think of it in this terms. Think of a concert with an opening act. Like, say you got Campia and Schnepp's Wicked Banjo Duo as a band, okay? And we want to go and do a concert at Madison Square Garden. Well, there's no way anybody's going to come to see it. But you put U2 as the headliner, then you're going to fill the auditorium. The world will get introduced to Campia and Schnepp's Banjo Duo, and we can go from there. And that is just...
And we sold it out. We could claim that we sold out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, we sold out Madison Square Garden with special guest U2. So what you got happening here is DC understands you have to have your DC versions of U2. You have to have Superman and Batman because they're the characters that will bring the audience to introduce them to the other characters that maybe we don't know so well that could turn into a good movie. So I don't see them ever doing that without Batman and Superman, at least not in the near future. But that's just my take on it. Schnepp, what do you think?
Well, the guy brought up some very interesting characters. Obviously, he's a sweaty nerd because he mentioned Wildcat, which is a guy who's a boxer and dresses up as an animal cat guy. So I'm a sweaty nerd too. I know who they are. But mentioning Justice Society beyond like a small tribunal of nerds, no one's going to go see it. But I think one thing that I'd point out is Iron Man wasn't a giant character, so you could do a Dr. Fate movie. You could do a Hawkman movie, which I don't think you should do. I'm saying Dr. Fate would be a great standalone sword and street, awesome fantasy film. Making Justice Society before the Justice League just doesn't really make sense, unless it was some kind of fan-made thing that a whole bunch of people got together and showed at San Diego Comic-Con. Then I'd go see it, but I don't see that as being the next step to jump. But definitely taking these characters and giving them a smaller budget just to introduce them and doing it really well, I think that's a great idea. So.
All right, folks. Well, we have run out of time. But listen, while I got you, before you do anything else, take a second and click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news, our editorials, and of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Listen, also, if you want to listen to an audio-only version of this show, jump down into the description of this video and you'll find links to our iTunes and Stitcher Radio so you can listen to us on your commute to work. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AMC Theaters. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AMC Theaters. And go out and see a movie tonight. head on over to amctheaters.com to get your theater and showtime and all of your ticket information needs. And once again, don't forget, click that subscribe button. I want to thank our lovely host, as always, Miss Chrysalie Kennedy. Thanks so much, Chrysalie.
Thanks for having me.
Our very special guest, director not only of the ABCs of Death that is coming out, but also this great documentary he's working on called Whatever Happened to Superman Lives. Schnepp, just tell us a quick second about Superman Lives and the documentary you're working on.
Well, so I'm slowly gaining some money over the last couple of weeks. So if you go to the Kickstarter page, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, please contribute some money so I can make this documentary. It's all about the 1998 film that Tim Burton was going to direct, Nicolas Cage was going to star in. It's a really cool concept, a twist on Superman that no one has ever seen. I think it would have made a great, exciting, creative film. So help me make it. So.
And most importantly, thank you to you guys. Listen, the most important part of the show is not what we have to say, it's what you have to say. Jump into the comments section. Tell me that I am completely out of my mind and I've lost my marbles. It's okay. You're allowed to be wrong. Tell us about how funny Schnepp is, or marriage proposals for Chrysalie, or whatever you want to do. Jump down there, leave your thoughts and comments, and once again, click that subscribe button. Thanks so much for joining us. Until tomorrow, my name's John Campea for AMC Movie News. Bye-bye.